Can you name a general who is a farmer?
Winston Choo.
This is Winston Choo. He was a soldier for 34 years and he has worn many hats, most notably as Singapore's first Chief of Defence Force. When he retired, he was Lieutenant General, 3 stars. But he was also the first aide-de-camp to Yusof Ishak and worked directly with Goh Keng Swee when he was only 25. So, what does the Chief of Defence Force do?
Everybody does everything I tell them to do. No, but actually the Chief of Defence Force is responsible for the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. In peacetime, the most important thing is allocate money to the 3 services. But it's always a problem because the pie is always small and everybody wants something. If the Air Force wants a squadron of planes, then the Army cannot exist. But in war, the Chief of Defence Force coordinates the operations for the 3 services. That's the most important role of the Chief of Defence Force, to ensure that Singapore Armed Forces can fight as one and win a war.
You were Yusof Ishak's first aide-de-camp. What was it like working with him?
He's a tremendous man. He likes to be simple, but he can't. She likes to go out and photograph. He didn't want his bodyguard to come, so I armed myself. I drove him. He sat next to me. We drove to Bras Basah Road. The way he buy all his photographic supplies and all that. Then one day he says, "Let's go and eat satay." I said, "Son, where you want to eat?" I asked him. He wanted to go Bishop. The satay shop was roadside, Right? So I said, "How to go there?" Cannot. No, he wanted to go. So so I drove in there, parked the car, went to eat. Both of us sat down on the stool, eat satay. Somebody saw us, reported, mentioned it. I got such a scolding. But you must bear in mind that when I was in Istana, the Prime Minister was also working from Istana. Lee Kuan Yew was there all the time. Though I was ADC to President Yusof, I was de facto working for Lee Kuan Yew too. It was a balance. It was interesting working for a very, very demanding man for Lee Kuan Yew. A different kind of demand from a man called Yusof Ishak. I grew up very fast.
We heard that Yusof Ishak told you to postpone your wedding?
I was actually engaged to be married. The job required me to be a bachelor. So I had to live in the Istana. So I told the president that, when he interviewed me, I said, "You don't want me, I'm going to get married." So he said to me, "No, if I choose you, you can postpone your wedding." I postponed my wedding. As it turned out, Dr. Goh Keng Swee, who was then Defence Minister, wanted me back into the Army. So in 1966, I got married, and President Yusof was very kind. He gave us, our family, a reception in the Istana.
You mean you were essentially handpicked by Goh Keng Swee to be in the Army?
The reason they wanted me back in the Army was to start the communications, the signals and communications. And I became the first, then known as Chief of Communications and Electronics. Then Dr. Goh saw me one day and he said that I got a new job for you. My intention is to make you the chief of the armed forces. So I looked at him and said, So he said, "Yes." But I said, "No, I'm only 30 years old. If you do that to me, it means how long can I be chief, right? Then what happens to me after that? I'll be 35 years old with no job, No, I said, "Never mind, go and do the job first." When I joined in 1959, the Singapore military forces, the highest ranking Singaporean was a major. The rest were all British officers. So when I joined, I said, "Maybe you can become major. I get a Land Rover to drive home." So never in my wildest dreams then, as an 18-year-old, I would be a general. Why me? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I was lucky, like I say, right place, right time. He liked my face. And
other than Goh Keng Swee and Lee Kuan Yew, you also worked with Lee Hsien Loong and Teo Chee Hean as their superior, right?
I was working for a man called Dr. Goh Keng Swee, who was a very, very demanding defense minister. He was the architect of the SAF. I was the draftsman and worker. He was the architect. And when you have to work on the road chemistry, I used to remember they used to say, if road chemistry calls you and eat it twice, you are dead. You know, Shannon was first batch of SAF trawler. Chiu Chien was third batch. Joshua was third batch. Right? So these three are the ones who work as my director joint operations command, part of the joint staff at Tanjung. These are all individually super smart people. So when you work with people like that, you may be the boss, but you must learn how to show their capability, and by that the organization benefit from the ability to do things. And that's what I did. All of them were good subordinates. I'm a diplomat, you know.
Who was more demanding?
LKY.
LKY.
If I had been, I would not be 3-star general.
Is it true that only the highly educated can advance in the military?
Yes and no. If you're not capable, whether you have got a PhD or you're a genius, you will never be the chief. You will never rise. When I was Chief of Defence Force, I was partly involved in the SAF scholarship system. So I was, monitoring them, and I know. We had scholars who fell by the way. Scholars we knew that will never make a military commander. To be a commander and a leader requires more than just pure, sheer intelligence. Today we have had, we got some generals in the SAF who are termed as farmers, right? We got scholars and farmers, right? Me, I'm a farmer,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think the most important thing is you must have the ability to be a good soldier, to be a good leader, to be a good commander, to rise. In 1959, I applied to go to military college. I saw my principal. I was from ACS. He was, taken aback and says, ACS boys don't become soldiers. So I said, this is one ACS boy who wants to be a soldier.
How did you juggle work and family commitments? You even had to postpone your wedding.
In those days, you must understand, we were very, very obedient people. She said, is that what your job requirement is? Is that what the state, the nation wants you to do? I'll wait. I know that chances are you won't change your mind. And I told her, slowly I won't change my mind. And now we have been married, for how long? 53 years. I must ask my wife, I think she should be given all the medals that I get. So it's not easy to be a wife of a soldier, and worse still, the wife of a CDF. I became CDF, I told you, when I was 30 years old. There's some pictures of my son and my children when they were very young. I hardly had time for them. The SF was being formed. The demands of my time was so much, So my wife single-handedly handled my two children. Now you ask me if I would live my life again, would I live it differently? I think I would do it differently. Like what I tell all the young officers today, family first. Career important, but balance.